Hello everyone, how you doing today? I am back with a brand new series called Sonic Songs Deconstructed. The inspiration for this series came from a number of things, one of which obviously being my love for Sonic music, another being a video by a fellow YouTuber, Lord Danny, where she kind of broke down the song What I'm Made Of from Sonic Heroes. As well as this, I've always been really fascinated by the bottom of every Sonic entry wiki about a Sonic song, where they talk about how it relates to the characters and the story of the games, and I was like, hey, what if I made a video series about this? Now, obviously I'm not just going to copy the things they say, I'm going to try and dig deeper and find new stuff in the songs, but there will probably be times where our analysis intersects, just as a disclaimer. Also, if you're expecting any deep music theory from these videos, don't. I'm mostly going to be analyzing the lyrics, sometimes the instruments if I can find anything interesting, but yeah. Now with all that out of the way, let's talk about today's piece. That being the theme of my personal favorite Sonic character, Dreams of an Absolution from Sonic 06. Now, if you haven't heard this song, I suggest listening to it before watching this video, but I mean, I guess you don't have to. Anyway, let's get into it.
'Cause every night I will make it right, and every night I will come to you, but every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution.
The song begins with the lines, "And every night I lay awake, and I find no conclusion, and every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution." Essentially, this is just Silver talking about how he keeps thinking over the problem they're in. That problem being the world having been ravaged by Iblis, and how he can never figure out a solution, or he finds no conclusion, as the song states. And as such, the problem continues, made evident by the line, "And every night it just stays the same," which is repeated throughout the song. And there's of course the "dream of an absolution" line, but we'll get to that later. Now let's move on. Next part. "In the nightlight, do you see what you dream? All your troubles, are they all what they seem?" Now this is where we run into a problem with this song, and that's the changing perspective. While no one can argue that this song is meant to be from Silver's point of view, there are times where he says "I" and times where he says "you." And while some of these times he's obviously talking to another person, there are others where he's very clearly referring to himself in the third person, with this line especially ones we'll get to a little later. Anyway, TLDR, if he's clearly referring to another person, I'll call that out and discuss it. But if he says "you" in an instance that seems to relate to Silver's character, we're just gonna assume he's being dramatic and referring to himself in the third person. Cool. Cool. Now on to this part of the song, it's really self-explanatory. The line talking about if their troubles are what they seem is likely talking about the mysterious nature of the current state of the world. Remember, Silver begins 06 not knowing how the world got the way it is, and his story throughout the game largely revolves around him learning the truth, so that's likely what this line's talking about. It continues with the lines, "Look around you, then you may realize, all the preachers, all with their lies." Probably don't need to go too far into this. Mephiles shows up to Silver and preaches to him about the end of the world, and how it happened, and how he can prevent it, and it turns out to be a lie. That's it. "And I might know of our future, but then you still control the past." Now this is tricky, as there are multiple instances in the game where Silver encounters people who can, quote, control the past. Hell, he becomes one of those people. We can rule out Blaze since she also knows of the future, which leaves us with Sonic, Shadow, and Mephiles as our likely candidates. Let's move on, and maybe the next part will help us reveal which one it is. "Only you know if you'll be together, only you know if we shall last." Okay. Hear me out. Mephiles' whole goal throughout 06 is to reunite with Iblis. "Only you know if you'll be together," as well as the line, "only you know if we shall last," point towards this being Mephiles, since obviously he has knowledge of the future and the fates of all the characters. As well as this, however, there's Sonic. Sonic is the character who all the others rally around when times get rough, including at the end of 06.
Certainly, it might have been possible if he was still alive.
You were the vessel that was used to seal Iblis. You should be able to use the gem's power to rescue Sonic's soul.
I'll go too, because it's for Sonic.
So the "you'll be together" line makes sense. As well as this, Sonic knowing if they shall last could be referring to his optimism in regards to the fact that he's always confident they'll make it out in the end. And Shadow, yeah, it's not him. While there's strong arguments for both Mephiles and Sonic, if I had to pick one right now, I would say I lean more towards it being Sonic. Anyway, the song continues with the lines, "In the nightlight, do you still feel your pain? For the valor you waited, it never came." This is one of those parts where it becomes clear that this song switches from a first and third person perspective, because, like, who else's valor would they be talking about? Anyway, the first line's pretty simple. The pain of living in a destroyed world and being unable to do anything about it. Not much more to go into there. The next line is far more interesting. I believe this line, talking about the valor you waited it never came, is referring to the fact that Silver wants to be a hero. He wants to do the right thing, to act with valor, but he can't. He doesn't know how. And it isn't exactly easy to save the world when it's already been destroyed. And his chance to be a hero, well, it never came. At least, not until Mephiles showed up. If you were able, would you go change the past, to mend a faux pas with one last chance? This is simply asking if Silver is willing to go back in time and alter the course of history in order to save the world. Not much more to say here. And I might know of our future, but then you still control the past. Yeah, we went over this already. Only you know if you'll be together tonight. Now, this part I think is a bit interesting in terms of how it relates to the chorus, but I'll get into that in a sec. Speaking of which, I won't often play the actual song in these videos just because it'll be kind of awkward to edit, but since the chorus all works as one unit, more than it does broken up into individual groups of lines, and also I just want to play it because it's great, I'm going to play it here before we talk about it.
'Cause every night I will save your life, and every night I will be with you. 'Cause every night I still lay awake and I dream of an absolution. 'Cause every night I will make it right, and every night I will come to you. But every night it just stays the same in my dream of an absolution.
Now, I said before how there are times when Silver is clearly talking to or about other people in the song. However, I believe that person changes depending on what part we're in. I've said before that I believe the chorus is meant to be about Silver and Blaze when it talks about him saving their life and being with them and coming to them. This is made obvious by the fact that, as I've mentioned before, there's a more melancholy version of the song titled You Are My Companion, which plays during her death scene. I go over all of this in my Valentine's Day special in case you're interested. But another important aspect of this song is that it talks about him doing these things every night, insinuating that him saving Blaze's life and being with her is part of his dream of an absolution. Let us all remember that in the game proper, you only hear this song after Blaze dies, and during the credits for Silver's story. So, to me, what this means is that while of course the dream, which is repeatedly referenced throughout the song, is meant to be about saving the world, it's also about saving Blaze specifically and how, in this moment, he wasn't able to do it. But in his dreams, he's able to find a way. Let us all remember what absolution actually means. The dictionary defines it as formal release from guilt, obligation, or punishment. So it makes sense that he would dream about saving her and being reunited with her, as he undoubtedly feels guilty about her sacrificing herself in his place, as he originally intended on sealing Iblis within himself. Now, obviously the timeline gets rewritten at the end and Blaze is revived as a result. But that doesn't negate anything, as we can assume this is what would have happened had Silver's timeline been allowed to continue. As well as this, and I just recently learned this, but apparently Bentley Jones' inspiration for this song came from a breakup he had recently gone through, so the theme of separation from a partner and the pain that comes from it is undeniably in there. Granted, that apparently was not a good relationship, so maybe it isn't the best comparison, but look, I'm trying here. Regardless, it always struck me as odd that Silver is seemingly singing about one specific person here, but with the context of how this story ends, it makes a tad more sense. Anyway, I don't have a good transition, so let's move on to the second verse. In the nightlight, do you see what you dream? All your triumph and all you'll ever be. Not really much to say about this one. Again, it's likely referring to Silver dreaming about his triumph of being able to defeat Iblis. Look around you, then you may realize happiness lies trapped in misery. This likely refers to the fact that there isn't any way of saving the world without sacrificing something, specifically referring to Blaze sacrificing herself at the end of Silver's story. A happy ending for the world, but resulting in misery for those who saved it. And who knows what of our future, we can all try to change the past. Basically just saying that they're not sure of what's to come, but Silver along with other characters are able to change the past to try and make it better. And then the song just kind of loops. Not much more to say other than that he talks about how he'll always dream, likely talking about he'll always hope for a better future and work to make it better. This song as a whole is perfectly representative of Silver's journey throughout the game. I tried figuring out some way to wrap it all up and say essentially everything I just got done saying about how Blaze's role in the song was overlooked and it's about Silver's regrets and all that, but like, you all just watched the video, so I don't really need to do that. But anyway, that's it. Not much more to say. I could talk about how the techno vibe is meant to reflect Silver being from the future, but like, you all know that already? It's a good song. I really like it, if that wasn't obvious. Let me know down below, though. Do you agree with my analysis? Do you think I'm reaching for any parts of it? Please let me know. And also, if you have any suggestions for songs that you'd like me to cover in this series, let me know that down below as well. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to leave a like, consider subscribing, help grow the channel. Be on the lookout for more of these in the future, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.